Toronto FC suffered their first loss of the season at BMO Field in a whirlwind of a night against their rivals, the Montreal Impact. Welcome to After 90, presented by Kia. Gareth Wheeler and Caroline Szwed here with you. And Gareth, watching that game, I know I wasn't the only person who was just overwhelmed with emotion. I mean, Toronto FC conceded 5 goals, and they did try their best to come back, but it just wasn't enough on the night.
Uncharacteristic mistakes buried Toronto FC this night. There were times you're like, where's the team that just went on that incredible 11-game unbeaten streak, winning 6 games in a row? It's their first home loss since October 1st, 2016. And if you ask the players to a man inside that room, they'll all acknowledge that tonight wasn't good enough, top from bottom. The expectations are extremely high. Yes, we can say, you know, it's a learning point, or you can there's teachable moments and you can sharpen up because of this, but there's been a winning culture established within this team, and they expect more from themselves. Like, it started with the first goal, a couple mistakes inside the box. Piatti off his rear end into the back of the net. Marco Donadell with an absolute worldie, but it came from the loss of possession, not closing down the man. Starting the second half, when you bring a goal back right before halftime and Jonathan Osorio, like Steven Beitashour, I've never seen him make a back pass like that. Ends up in the back of the net, and the wind is completely taken out of your sail. So a disappointing night all around. Accountability goes across the board. And I just wonder how this will affect the way that they suit up or line up against the New England Revolution. Look, they're still in the driver's seat, pole position for the Supporters' Shield. But tonight, I think it just kind of showed you that there's no taking things lightly. There's nothing to be taken for granted in this league.
Coach Greg Vanney says that no way you slice it, there were just too many mistakes made on the night.
I think every game there's something you have to take out of the game, and so there's obviously things that I will take out of it. You know, to give up 5 goals means that everybody was off of it on the day, including myself, and setting up the team. So responsibility starts with me, but we as a group made far too many mistakes today to even give ourselves a chance. I mean, we're down 2 goals before we even got into the game, really.
Gareth, tonight was the first night that we saw Toronto FC play without Josie Altidore, Sebastian Giovinco, and Victor Vasquez. That's 2 DPs and 1 critical midfielder. And, I mean, I think it kind of showed.
Yeah, that's 35 goals that you take out of your team combined. And what Vasquez brings is that player to play off the lone striker. It's one thing not having Giovinco and Altidore, but losing Vasquez, that was a big blow. And it was a late decision to keep Vasquez out of this game. He just wasn't feeling 100%, just battling illness, and that changes the scope of everything. It pushed Osorio into a more attacking role. It pushed Cooper into a more attacking role. Those are more box-to-box midfielders, and it held Marky Delgado a little bit back. So it changed the shape of the team, and then when they got behind, Greg Vanney changed the shape even more by playing 4 at the back, and that didn't work out as well. It was just a series of unfortunate events that kind of turned and worked against Toronto FC on the night. Now, you like their fight back later on. Greg Vanney kind of acknowledged the mistake and went back to playing with 3 at the back, brought in Raheem Edwards, who was bright, brought in Nico Hassler. I thought he was good, and they started moving the ball quicker, getting into pockets of space deep in the corners and getting crosses into the box. That's when Toronto FC is at their best. So I think they pushed on, and they really created some chances late that they could have even taken advantage of more, but it was just too little too late for this team. So I think you can kind of learn from where this team's strengths are when they're playing at their best, and it's really when they're moving the ball quickly, finding pockets of space, and playing in behind the back line.
Staying on a little bit of a positive note, to St. Ricketts, I feel like his name should be to St. coming in the clutch Ricketts, right? LA Galaxy, when he played, he scored 2 goals. Then he comes in tonight, he has 2 goals. And I feel like when he scored those 2 goals, it changed the momentum of the game.
He's just so athletic. He can get up, both goals coming off a header, and they didn't use Ricketts enough over the course of the match. When you have a player with his kind of speed, you got to give him the ball in behind the back line, put pressure on the Montreal Impact. I give the Impact full credit. Their back 5 were solid. I thought that Jamali and Piatti working around Michael Bradley, causing fits in the attacking third. I thought that they were were very good. And Anthony Jackson-Hamel, the Canadian striker, he was very good on the night as well. But Ricketts, it just shows you the type of talent that the Canadian system is bringing through. And really, he's a spark plug, whether it's coming off the bench or in a starting role for Toronto FC from now until the end of the year.
Gareth, I was talking to Michael Bradley after the game, and he says that he's happy that they have a quick turnaround against New England on Saturday, and they have to enter that game like their season's on the line. What do you think about that?
I love that mentality from the group because it doesn't sit well. There's no excuses. Look, we can look back the fact that they traveled from the West Coast. You're playing a midweek game against a desperate rival who had lost 4 games in a row, who are on the outside looking in. You're without your two of your DPs and Victor Vasquez. Throw those excuses out the window. Michael Bradley's a winner. He's always going to give it 100%, and he's going to be able to look his own teammates in the eye as a captain and just tell his teammates, look, it wasn't good enough for me, it wasn't good enough for the rest of you as well. It's leadership by example, and they expect a completely different performance come Saturday.
Well, let's see how Toronto FC bounces back against the New England Revolution on Saturday at 5 p.m. For all updates on your Reds, visit torontofc.ca.